Question 4, boy, is about the real interest rate. Some of you, when you did this question, you may think that, oh, it is very simple because you have the formula. The normal interest rate is equal to real interest rate plus the inflation rate, right? And to find out the real interest rate, this is very simple. You just subtract the inflation rate from normal interest rate. And do you have these two? Yes, you have these two. You have the normal interest rate here. You also have the inflation rate here. Then you can have 2.5 minus 1.6, and you can get the real interest rate. Somehow in quarter 3 you have 2 minus 1.7, then you can get the real interest rate. And some of you answer something like that in your mock practice. And I will call this level 1 answer. Why? Because this is totally rubbish. Why this is totally rubbish? Because in the question there is one important word that you shouldn't ignore. Which word is it? The word expected, right? Somehow you need to find out the expected real interest rate, but not the realized real interest rate. And that means when you do the calculation, this inflation rate, is it expected or actual? To find out the expected real interest rate, you have to use the expected inflation rate to do the calculation. However, in the table, do you have the expected inflation rate? No, you only have the actual inflation rate here, and you only have the actual inflation rate. And somehow, can you do the calculation? No, you can't do the calculation, and this answer is totally incorrect. And some of the better students know this. You don't have the expected inflation rate, then you answer something like that in your mock practice. You say that you don't have the expected inflation rate, and how can I tell the answer? This is pretty good already, but this is not the perfect answer. Why this is not the perfect answer? Because there is another important word in question 4, boy. Which word is it? It is the word necessarily. So whenever you see the word necessarily, you must give a counter example and compare blah 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 and blah 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 in your answer. The question asks you whether in quarter 3 the real interest rate must necessarily be lower. The counter example is that you explain one example where the real interest rate is higher, and that's it. So, and that's why let us do the analysis and see what we have to do. So you know that the expected real interest rate is equal to nominal minus the inflation rate. And which one do you have from the table? You have the nominal interest rate, but not the inflation rate. So this is given and this is not given. And you know that the nominal interest rate already decreases by 0.5%. So from 2.5 to 2%, you know it decreases by 0.5. If nominal interest rate changes only, but there is no change in the inflation rate, then obviously the real interest rate should drop. But we should give a counterexample where the real interest rate becomes higher, right? Becomes higher. Then that's why you should assume that there is also a change in this expected inflation rate. And what is the change? Because you need to give a counterexample. And the counterexample is that the real interest rate becomes bigger. And if you want real interest rate to become larger, then of course you should subtract a larger number or smaller number from it. You should obviously subtract a smaller number. And that's why in your counterexample you should tell me that maybe this inflation rate also changes. How does it change? Maybe it decreases. And because you want to have a counterexample so that finally the real interest rate becomes larger, and that means the drop in the expected inflation rate should be much larger than the drop in the nominal interest rate, such that the real interest rate finally increases. And that's why in your answer, you should give me this counterexample and tell me that if the expected inflation rate decreases and it decreases more than the nominal interest rate, then finally real interest rate could become higher in quarter 3 than in quarter 2. And that's why you can answer no to question 4, boy.